Talk Radio, it is 1:51 and I'm Dan Wootton in for Matthew Wright with our EU election results special. We are hearing from the Lib Dems in the next hour, and later on in the show, UKIP, the Brexit Party, the Tories, the Greens and Plaid Cymru as well. They are all going to be here. But right now, I bring in Femi Oluwole. He's the co-founder of Our Future, Our Choice, the campaign for a second referendum. But I have to say, Femi, I presume after last night's results, you will now be calling off your campaign because this was such a significant win for Leave, a 60% win in this election. Surely you now accept that your campaign, you've had a good run, you've got a lot of media attention, but Femi, this has to be it now. You've got to stop trying to divide the country.
60% from?
Very, very clearly where I'm getting 60% from. So Brexit and UKIP, obviously both hard Brexit parties, that's 37%. Then Labour and the Tories, that's 23%.
Sorry, you're adding Labour. I mean, the policy
both
of the
Brexit parties.
The policy of the Brexit Party is a no-deal Brexit. Labour explicitly in its manifesto says no.
I'm not talking about no-deal Brexit.
Oh, okay,
I'm just talking about parties that want Brexit.
So then we'll go for the deal then. If it's not specifically no-deal Brexit, then we're saying let's have the deal.
So just parties that wanted Brexit got 60% of the votes in this Euro election. So what I'm saying is that surely it's time. You've had your campaign, you've failed. It's time to stop dividing the country. And I'm just wondering, are you going to announce here and now that it's over?
A no-deal Brexit is nothing like a deal Brexit. Now, given that the majority of people who voted on Thursday voted for parties that oppose no deal, we can't leave the EU without a deal because we voted against it. Just like we voted against no deal on Thursday, we voted against no deal also in the 2017 general election, where the majority of voters voted for parties that oppose no deal. So there is no mandate for leaving the European Union without a deal.
There's also no mandate for remaining.
There's no mandate for any particular option. What we need to do is have a referendum on the Brexit deal we've just negotiated.
Why?
Because the deal we've just negotiated is one that most Brexit voters oppose, and no deal, we've just voted against it twice now, so we need to have more democracy to figure out where we go next.
Well, I actually totally disagree that we've voted against no deal. But
explain why.
Femi,
I just explained that we voted for parties that oppose no deal by a majority twice.
I'll tell you why, number one, that far and away, the number one party is the Brexit Party with 29 seats and a 31.6%.
But the majority voted against them.
But Femi, I just want to actually.
You were talking about people who got 31% of the vote, and you claim that there's a majority.
I just want to take you through.
How is 31% a majority?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said there are a majority of pro-Brexit parties.
Then you can't say that there's a majority. I mean, and you can't just lump Brexit together as one thing, because if we leave the EU on a no-deal Brexit, then those that oppose no deal will be against that.
But you're wanting to lump and remain together.
I'm wanting to say, I'm not lumping remain together. I'm lumping together parties that oppose no-deal Brexit.
Well, Femi, what I want to just take you through now is all of the different democratic votes post the initial referendum. So to begin with, you have 17.4 million people that vote for a Brexit. Remember, the Prime Minister of the day, the Chancellor of the Exchequer of the day made it very, very clear that voting for Brexit did mean voting for a no-deal Brexit. It meant leaving the customs union, and it left leaving the single market. So we accept that. Then we have a general election, Femi.
They did not say it meant a no-deal Brexit. They may have said...
That term didn't exist, Femi.
Yeah,
they said it meant leaving the customs union, leaving the single market.
There was a massive difference between leaving the single market and customs union and leaving the EU without any deal at all.
Then we had the general election.
No, let's be clear on that point.
You
can't say that they said that it would be a no-deal Brexit when they did not say that. They said it would be. They said we leave the single market and customs union. They did not say we leave the EU without any deal at all. That is a completely different kettle of fish.
Then we had the general election, Femi. Then we had the general election where both parties, Labour and the Tories, went in with a Brexit manifesto. So that was the second democratic vote.
And in that general election, the majority of people voted for parties that oppose no deal.
Again, Femi, they voted for pro-Brexit parties. And at that point, Femi, at that point, can we just clarify, Theresa May was saying very, very clearly, no deal is better than a bad deal.
And she lost her majority on that basis, so there's no mandate for no deal.
Then we have the third democratic... Then we have the local election result.
Then
we have yesterday's vote. And I just feel like surely now is the time to accept, Femi. The game is up. The fix is in.
So-
you and the London liberal media elite are never going to accept that the public want Brexit.
I am from Birmingham. I was born in Darlington. Please do not lump me in with the London metropolitan elite. As for the point about democracy, the majority voted for parties that oppose no deal. So what are you saying should happen? If you are saying we should leave the EU without a deal, you're saying we should do something that the majority voted against twice.
That's rubbish.
I just explained why.
You have absolutely no proof that the public voted against a no-deal Brexit.
They voted
all
for parties.
You know is that they
parties.
voted for parties that are pro-Brexit. That's all you know.
No. I said that they voted for parties whose manifesto said, we oppose no-deal Brexit.
But a no-deal Brexit, by the way, is not something that the Tory party are saying is something they necessarily want. They're saying it's something that has to be left on the table in negotiations in order to secure a good deal.
The negotiations are over. They've been over for months. So if Boris Johnson gets into power, he will be pushing for no deal. Same with Dominic Raab. That is what will happen. And the majority voted against that. It would be a fundamental democratic travesty if we left the EU without a deal after the majority voted against no deal parties in 2 consecutive elections.
It's astonishing to me, Femi, that you can take last night's results as a win for Remain.
It's not a win for Remain. It's a defeat.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you admit. Thank goodness you've admitted Remain didn't win last night. Thank goodness. Some honesty. That's good.
But it's also a victory for saying that the country does not want a no-deal Brexit.
How?
I don't know how many times I can say this. We voted for parties that oppose no-deal Brexit.
Well, that's not true. It's simply not true.
No. The majority voted for... If you add up the votes of Labour, Lib Dem, Green, Change, Plaid Cymru, SNP, you get well over 50%. In fact, you get between 53 and 55%, depending on... I can't remember which seats are in yet. But that is a clear majority against no deal.
But you're clinging to an idea...
That democracy counts, that majorities carry? How am I explaining this to a Brexiteer?
Femi, if democracy counted... you would have accepted the results of the first referendum and, please God, the only referendum on Brexit.
Brexiteers don't accept the result of the first referendum because in 2016 they said, vote, we will implement what you decide. The government implemented what we decided, and most Brexiteers don't like the implementation of that decision. We just negotiated a deal which takes us out of the EU, which fulfills the referendum mandate of leave the European Union, yet most Brexit voters do not like it. So it is Brexit voters, as much as Remainers, who oppose the result of that referendum.
Do you accept that last night's results show that if a second referendum were to be held, it is very, very likely that Brexit would win again?
No. Because any second referendum would have to be on the deal we've just negotiated versus membership of the EU. And membership of the EU would win. And
just final question, if Remain were to win a second referendum, do you accept that it would then be 1-1 and there would have to be a third referendum?
If I ask you, will you pay for my meal? And you say yes. And then the bill comes and it's 39 billion. And then I ask you again, will you pay for my meal? Are you... After you say no, hell no to that, that's not what I signed up for, do I then ask you again? Does it make any sense to ask you again? Because nothing will have changed. We signed a blank contract in 2016 and they wrote the terms 3 years later. Who does that? The fact is, we actually have the details of the thing we've signed up to right now.
It's very sad how much you underestimate the British public. Very sad.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Is it underestimating the British public to say that they couldn't predict the outcome of negotiations of a 2-year process that's never been undertaken before? But they weren't able to predict every single word of a 585-page treaty.
You may be from Birmingham, but you're a poster boy now of the London media liberal elite. You're a poster boy for the elite in this country who do not want to recognise ordinary Brits who want to say that people who voted for Brexit are stupid. And you know what?
The only people saying that
you cannot accept these results.
The only people saying that Brexit voters are stupid are people like you.
I'm saying the opposite. I think they're very intelligent. I think they know exactly what they were voting for. And I think they've shown time and time again
Did we know what
deal
we'd get in 2016? Did we know what deal we'd get in 2016?
Of course not, Femi.
Then we
because
didn't
how
know what
can
we were
you
voting
how
for.
can you
Then we
ever
didn't know what we were
predict
voting
what
for.
anything is going to be? Just like if Scotland had voted
That's the
to
point.
leave,
That is
they
the
wouldn't
point.
have known what deal they were going to get.
Yes,
but I'm sorry,
which means that we didn't know
were
what
told
Brexit
it
would
was
be.
a once
Which
in a
means we didn't know-
lifetime
if we
referendum.
didn't know that,
the
we didn't know what
future
Brexit would be.
of democracy is at stake.
Sir, if we didn't know that, then we didn't know what Brexit would be. So it only makes sense that we have a decision on that basis when we actually know the facts.
Well, you know what?
That is simply logic.
I back the
Who
British
signs
public,
a contract
Femi.
and lets the other people write the terms of that
Femi,
contract 3 years later?
I back the
That's
British
what happened.
public. They've now voted
Yes.
3 times for Brexit.
And they've now voted
3 times.
and they've
Accept it.
and they've now voted.
Fold your campaign.
They've now voted.
Accept it.
They've now voted twice for parties that oppose no deal. So we can't leave the EU without a deal because the public opposes it.